Watching Kyle's unboxing videos again?
Yeah, he always finds the coolest... No way! A robot dog? Gotta ask where he got it.
Or use your Samsung Galaxy S24 Ultra. Just draw a circle around the dog on your screen, and it shows you where to buy it right in the app.
Whoa, I just learned a new trick. And that for once, I beat Kyle to the next big thing.
Circle it, find it with the new Galaxy S24 Ultra and circle the search with Google. Get yours now at Samsung.com. Internet connection required. Results may vary based on visuals.
Barenaked, 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 ABCs. Welcome to the Barenaked ABCs, where we discuss every Barenaked Lady song from 7 to Y, whether they're lyrics or just sound effects like me. And joining me tonight, I have some of my favorite people in the world, Aaron, Heidi, and Stefan.
Hello.
Hello.
And we have returning guest, Tyler.
Tracy, I think we might have a problem here.
What's the
You
problem?
having trouble with Tracy already?
Wow.
You said this was Barenaked ABCs?
I think he said
Yeah.
Bare Lake and ABCs, but
Barenaked ABCs.
I thought this was the modern lexicographers. I thought we were talking about the Modern Lovers song Roadrunner today.
No.
Wow.
No, we're
I
talking about the
appreciate
Barenaked Ladies version.
Oh, okay.
I thought we were talking about the internet access Roadrunner.
No,
oh
we're
my
not
gosh,
talking
yeah,
about
that's what I
that.
was saying too. Yeah.
And I just inserted the sound effect for dialing in right there.
Can you guys give me a little credit for coming up with modern lexicographers, though?
Yeah, I appreciated that.
Say that 5 times fast, Tyler. Say it 5 times fast.
Modern lexicographers.
So we actually have a couple of different versions to discuss this week too of this song, because not only was it on Buck Naked, but it was also on the rare release of Ladies Room Volume 7, using one of the live shows from 2003 during their Peep Show tour. But interestingly enough, like, I don't know which of the Peep Show tour shows it was from, because they did about 10 different recordings of this particular song during that tour. And you can find them all on YouTube, and they sound almost all exactly the same.
Yeah.
I was very glad to see that they had a couple live versions on there. So I know that there's some songs that are on the demo tape that I like, but aren't sung live. So I'm like, all right, cool. They're singing Roadrunner.
I was hoping one of them would have like drums and bass and stuff, though. They all were pretty much like voice and acoustic guitar, which, to be fair, fits the aesthetic of the song pretty well, I suppose. And we'll get into. I have another band to reference when I talk about this song.
They Might Be Giants?
No, it's not this time.
What?
No, shock
Hold on.
horror.
I believe hell has frozen over.
Yeah. I'm not talking about They Might Be Giants, and I'm not talking about Radiohead. So I don't know what world. I don't know what weird alternate universe we're in.
Susie and the Banshees.
No, but closer, maybe.
The Dead Milkmen.
Ooh, Dead Milkman. Yeah.
Are we just
Drinking
randomly
bleach.
making up names now?
No, those are
No, the
bands.
Dead Milkman. Are you kidding? They did a whole song about the Great Molasses Flood.
I think King Ink. I think it's
Which
King
is one
Ink.
of my favorite episodes of Puppet History is the Great Molasses Flood of Boston. That's a
I
great
use that in my
character.
American History through Music class. I talk about that, and we listen to the Dead Milkman song.
That's fantastic. I
Yeah,
love
I'm
it.
pretty.
But
I'm a cool
tonight
teacher.
we're
an
talking
awesome teacher.
about the Barenaked Ladies cover of Roadrunner.
You're on a highway and Roadrunner goes beep beep. Just step aside or you might end up in a heap. Roadrunner runs on the road all day. Even the coyote can't make him change his ways. Roadrunner, that coyote's after you. Roadrunner, If he catches you, you're through.
Well, I did tell you we would go off on at least one tangent, Tracy.
We'll go off on many tangents.
Yeah.
Tonight.
Oh yeah, I was actually, when you were talking about the Great Molasses Flood, I was thinking about Pompeii and how awesome that would be for them. They'd be like, no.
Tonight, I am going to feel like
go.
that.
There is a song about Pompeii.
Yeah, I was going to say, I believe there's also a Puppet History episode about Pompeii. So I don't know why I'm plugging Puppet History so much, but it's a great show. You guys should watch it.
I feel like I am going to be like the coyote tonight, constantly trying to pull us back off the cliff.
And we're like the Roadrunners, just running off the rails, running away from you.
Because, Tracy, we're talking about the Barenaked Ladies singing the Roadrunner theme song from the cartoon.
Welcome to the Barenaked Acme podcast.
Well, the song is from the cartoon, but the song is from the cartoon, but the cover is from Buck Naked. And
they weren't alive in 1954.
It is on all 4 different versions of Buck Naked. It is, interestingly enough, it is the first song that you get on Buck Naked.
No kidding.
So this is what they opened their disc with their intro album with. Before they even did one of their own songs. But there's a reason for that.
Why is that?
It is the first song that Steven sang with his partner, Jeff, in Scary Movie Breakfast. It was on the tape for Scary Movie Breakfast. And
I didn't know Jeff.
While they were working on different arrangements of this cartoon theme song, the thought occurred to Steven to write original songs instead of just replaying other people's songs, which is what led to him actually writing songs like the one that we discussed last week. Really don't know. So this, even though it doesn't seem like an important song, it's actually quite important in the history of Barenaked Ladies.
I don't understand what you mean by he was inspired to write songs of his own. Had he not processed before that that's what everyone else was doing?
I didn't know this was a possibility.
I don't know why it all of a sudden occurred to him, but yeah, at that point, it was in the creating of different arrangements of the song that he was like, you know what? We should just write our own stuff.
Can I just say, though, that Barbara Cameron was a treasure of a writer and composer and singer.
Do you want to talk a little bit about Barbara Cameron? I wrote down a bunch of stuff, but I will hand it over to anyone else.
Unfortunately, she died in 2013. She was almost 87, so she lived a long, lovely life. But she was like the person in the 1940s and 50s. She was mostly a singer, like a backup singer for a lot of things. She was in some groups throughout that time period. But she dabbled in composing. And when she worked for Warner Brothers, which was her husband's employer, she wrote the theme song for Roadrunner and sang the theme song for Roadrunner. But
before that point, she actually released an 8-sided album box disc called An Invitation to Love. How daring does that you have to be for you to release not just an album, but an 8-sided album?
Wow. Is that possible?
Well, I mean, obviously, I'm hoping that it was on four different albums, 4 different records. But
it's like the Dungeons and Dragons album. You know, they're going to have like a 20-sided album here eventually. You know.
And her first job was replacing Doris Day on the radio in the local radio station.
You can't replace Doris Day.
Those are some big pumps to fill.
Yeah. Kitten heels.
Well, that's impressive.
Yeah.
What is the we should all hear the original Roadrunner song.
If you're on a highway, you're gonna go speed. Just up the side of your mind and been a beep, beep. Roadrunner, runs down the road all day. Beep, beep. Even the coyote can't make a inch his way. Beep, beep. Roadrunner, beep, beep. The coyote's after you. Roadrunner, meep meep. If he catches you, you're through.
Right there.
You did it?
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
We should also hear the Barenaked Ladies version because we haven't played a snippet of that yet.
Oh, let's hear it, Tracy.
We just did. I played it after, like, you didn't hear that?
I'm still
that
getting
sounds good.
I'm just still getting the Modern Lovers in my headphones. I don't know about you guys.
Somewhere on a Modern Lovers podcast, so another guest is very confused in hearing the Barenaked Ladies.
Why don't we do a breakdown of the music? I have a whole bunch of Roadrunner facts and of the cartoon and such, and I'd love to have a conversation about Roadrunner and the Coyote. But we should probably talk about this song first. So why don't I hand it over to you, Aaron and Heidi, for a breakdown?
All right, let's break it down.
Well, I'm Heidi. And
I'm Aaron.
And we're not
Wicked smart
ladies.
Thank you for doing the original. So the song actually starts off with them introducing them.
I see what you're doing.
I'm Steve. And I'm Ed. And we're Barenaked Ladies.
It starts off with I'm Steve and I'm Ed, and they separate Barenaked Ladies.
I wanted to talk about that, Heidi. So yeah, you're absolutely right. I'm Steven and I'm Ed, and we're Barenaked Ladies. Did anybody else get like a Tenacious D vibe from that?
Yes.
Like, I wonder if Jack and Kyle are BNL fans. It would not surprise me at all. Jack and Kyle, we know you listen. Please come on the show.
Yeah, please, Jack. I would love to have you guys on the show. Jack Black, I'm sure you listen.
I ended up bumping into Jack Black.
In my book,
very
Aaron.
straightforward.
I'll be curious to see if you've got the same thing.
Yeah,
it's just a verse, chorus, outro. But D major.
D major. Yep.
And DAGD. So
it's a 1 4 5
4.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
1 5 4
1 5 4 1.
Yeah.
Like flying a plane. It's the landing.
That's it. And then the chorus starts on the 5 chord, and it goes 5 4 1 5 4 1. That's it.
That's exactly what I have. Yep. Yep.
He uses a lot of palm muting in the original one. I like the new the one that they played as a band because you get to hear Tyler go maybe.
I like that, and they kind of developed the riff a little more in the later versions. It's a little more, but yeah, no, it's D major. It was recorded at approximately 97 beats per minute, but it's very shaky. Once again, somewhere off in the distance, J.K. Simmons is throwing a chair.
What was the speed of the original one?
I don't know. Like I'm talking. Do you mean like the original Roadrunner song, not the BNL version? I don't know.
Oh, okay.
I think it's a little faster.
It is faster. Right. I'm just trying to figure out what it is.
But yeah, so we have an intro that's just vamping in D, and I use that term a lot, vamp or vamping. It doesn't mean to drink blood, contrary to popular opinion.
That's to morb.
It's morbid time.
118 beats per minute is what I have found.
So I'm not sure if we define vamping on the show yet. So I would describe vamping as playing either a short series of chords or sometimes just holding on a single chord and sort of bouncing around and playing in that one chord or short sequence of chords. The best example I can think of is the song the band plays when the Blues Brothers come out on stage. They're sort of vamping on a single chord for the most part. Yeah. But I'll defer to our resident professor here. Heidi, do you have a more precise definition for vamping?
It's just a repeated phrase over and over again.
Yeah.
We use it a lot in musical theater when we're waiting for somebody to come out on stage and they miss their cue. And so we have to just vamp. We have to just repeat over and over. And that funny side note, musical theater folks, friends. So I once was at a Broadway teachers workshop in New York, and we met with the composer of Spider-Man Turn Off the Dark.
No
and
way.
We got to see it. Yeah. We also met Sondheim. It was crazy good. Crazy awesome. Anyway, So we were talking to her and she said the reason why, because that musical is not a singable kind of musical. It's not one that you go, oh yeah, I love that song from that musical. I don't remember any of the music from it. And it's because it was written by Bono and Slash. Yeah. I mean, Bono and The Edge, and not Slash. That would be different. And their problem was they didn't understand the need for vamping in musical theater. So they just wrote like rock songs. But they didn't understand the need for the vamp, which takes up space. That
makes sense.
Yep.
Hey, speaking of vamps in Spider-Man, Morbius.
Tyler.
Was he in that play?
He should have been. They could have vamped while they waited for Morbius to come on stage. But yeah,
they would have said to Bono, "We need more vamps. Why aren't you vamping?" Well, Morbius is right there on stage. What are you talking about?
We have all the vamps we need.
Secret appearance by Blade.
So then we have the vamp at the beginning, and then it was, as Heidi said, it's like kind of A B. Like you repeat the chorus. It's like verse, chorus, repeat chorus, and then you have a coda or a tag. I'm gonna say because I'm a jazz cat, which is basically. I think the tag is just It's just like G to D, so it's like 4-1 repeated over and over again. And yeah, that's pretty much it. Very simple, kind of folksy acoustic rock. Again, it very much, to me, it seems like the kind of thing that might have inspired Tenacious D. It's a fun little tune. And I'd be interested to hear like a full band version. So Tracy, again, you sent us a couple of live recordings of this, but they're pretty much just both voice and acoustic guitar. Do you know if they ever played this at shows as like a full band with like drums and bass and keyboards and stuff like that?
Nope. They had them, but I think they were giving Jim and Kevin and Tyler a break at that point. And
that makes sense.
Roadrunner, meep, meep, that coyote's after you. Roadrunner, meep, meep, if you can't see you're through. That coyote is really a crazy clown.
That might have been also why they did it for like 10 out of the like 40 shows on that tour.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
because that was the tour where they played every single song that they've ever done.
Oh wow.
But usually like the old deep dives like this, they only played once. Like for them to have played it 10 times, there was a reason for it.
Huh.
Can I just say right now that I've been searching to figure out what was WLW standing for in the vocal department? Like, what was that? Was it a music corporation? What was it? So every time I type in WLW, that's not what comes up.
Weird lovers.
And I was like, that's
lace.
not it. So there's lots of interesting lesbian material out there, but actually, come to find out, it's a 100. It's a 100-year-old this year radio station frequency from the Midwest, which I didn't know. And those are just random call letters. But when you try to find out, what does WLW mean? I wasn't getting the results. These are not the results you're looking for.
It's like when you're a kid and you're told to do a book report, or not a book report, but like a paper on the government. So you go to whitehouse.com.
I know. And what's really interesting is the first air date was actually just over 100 years ago, March 23rd, 1922.
Oh, okay.
But apparently it was a big deal.
These aren't the vamps you're looking for.
And that's where Barbara Cameron worked.
That was
throughout
that
whole time period. So you're welcome. Now you know. So you don't have to look it up.
I feel dumber, Heidi, from that. Oh,
well, I feel like we're done talking about the music of this song.
I think you're right.
Yeah, I think you're right.
It was a pretty honest rendition, except for being slower. Why don't we talk a little bit about the lyrics?
Yeah, well, there's less sound effects.
By the way, it only took her 40 minutes to write this song.
I mean, it's a very simple song, but it's a very satisfying and well done song too. Like it works. It's perfect for what it is. As the theme song for the Coyote and Roadrunner cartoon, it works very well. I wanted to mention, I really appreciated that they used both pronunciations, coyote and coyote, in this song.
Yeah. That's one of the
I've
standouts.
heard both.
Coyote. Isn't?
Yeah,
isn't
I guess they there's three. There's probably more. There's multiple accepted pronunciations, but yeah, I hear coyote more often when I go out west, and I actually am in the area where people see coyotes more. But I always said coyote growing up.
Yeah, that's probably the French dialect.
The French,
because they drop the E on the end, you know. Coyote. Oh wait, that's Italian, isn't it?
Coyote la boca.
Everyone knows that Mario and Luigi are always running away from the coyote. There's a coyote.
Mario. Where's the coyote?
How many nationalities can we make upset in this one episode?
Canceled.
Yeah, we're canceled.
We've hit quite a few. And speaking of hitting things, like even the Roadrunner, you need to move aside or else you'll end up in a heap.
Well, so I see Roadrunners every time I go out to visit my mother and my brother in Arizona. And the first time I saw one, I was kind of taken aback by how small they are. Like I knew obviously they weren't ostrich size like you might expect from the cartoon. But they're really quite tiny. I recognize them immediately from that very horizontal profile they have. If you search for photos of Roadrunners online, and especially if you look at their heads, they have this very distinct look. They're very much like the sort of bird that lets you see how birds would have evolved from dinosaurs. Like they look kind of like velociraptors, which, by the way, were also much smaller than depicted in fiction. Like in Jurassic Park, they're huge. My paleophile friend Nathan would be disappointed if I didn't mention that Jurassic Park velociraptors look much closer to Deinonychus, which, as it happens, are thought to have had feathers. So there you go, random fact of the week.
Well,
there we go.
You know, raptors were runners, and the Roadrunner, like I know that it got its name because it ran on the roads, and that's where they kind of got the name for it. But on top of that, like it can fly, but it's not well known for flying. It likes to run
like a chicken,
like penguins.
Exactly.
Or a penguin. Can penguins fly?
Well, penguins cannot fly. Penguins cannot fly.
Perhaps,
I mean,
you know,
they get pushed into the water.
Tenacious D, and I was wondering if that dinosaur name was what the D stood for. Tenacious Deinonychus.
Or Deinonychus?
Yeah, Deinonychus.
Diana, what?
What?
Diana Rossososis?
Yes.
Dianetics?
Oh, I think I have a cream for that.
Tenacious Dianetics. They're all really
Tenacious
secretly.
Dianetics.
They're secretly.
By L. Ron.
So where are those Roadrunners native to?
He was married to.
They are native
in Arizona all the time.
They are native to the southwest of America. They are also known to be in the Mexico area.
Can I just say though that the Roadrunner was a dick?
Was
he? He really was.
Okay.
He really was. I agree with you, Heidi.
Thinking of okay, so if you've never seen How I Met Your Mother, you might, or if you have, you would know that there's an affinity for Billy Zabka and Billy Zabka, and because
Cobra Kai.
Yeah, from Cobra Kai, because they're always like, Bernie Stinson is always like,
Bernie,
the hero.
Daniel was kind of a
Karate
jerk.
Daniel's a jerk, and he bullied Billy, and that's why if you watch Cobra Kai, which I'm a huge fan, it kind of is like, oh yeah, he is kind of like, okay.
And Daniel did lose. Like he did
illegal contact to the face.
So if you ever think about it from the Coyote's perspective, the Roadrunner's awful.
Yeah, I mean, obviously the Coyote's trying to kill and eat the Roadrunner, but A, I would argue that's just nature, and B, the Roadrunner, I would have no problem with it escaping by any means necessary, but he goes out of his way. He's rather sadistic. Goes out of his way to hurt.
Yeah, but
I mean, he kept Acme in business for many years.
Yeah, I love the fact that the line in the song is "Poor little Roadrunner never bothers anyone." I think the Coyote would disagree with that statement.
He does, because he comes around, he's like, meep, and then he's gone, and you're like,
If he destroys the Roadrunner with Acme Dynamite, how much meat does he really expect to get?
That's also a very good point, Stefan. Like, what is his end game here?
Yeah, it's like, well, I think the first attempt was like, all right, I'm hungry, and then the rest is like, this guy's a dink. He needs to go down.
At a certain point, it becomes revenge.
Agreed.
As most of us, we all grew up with the 1970s cartoons and Looney Tunes on a Saturday morning. And for years, I thought I could just go off a cliff and stand there for a few minutes before you drop. Because
I loved the fact that they went against the laws of nature.
And physics.
And I love the fact that the Roadrunner did, but the Coyote only thought he could for about a half a second, and then he realized he couldn't.
Yeah, and then where did he get the sign from? Where was he keeping the sign?
One of the things I love, thank you for bringing that up, Heidi, because I got to tell you, one of my favorite things in looking up interesting facts this week about coyotes and roadrunners, the loudest animal in North America is the coyote, which is interesting that they make him absolutely mute.
I believe that. They really go howling.
Then we have the rabbit, which is the quietest. Bugs Bunny never shuts up.
True. Interesting point. Well, okay, so if you'll allow me to jump on a tangent here. When did Wile E. Coyote and the Roadrunner first start airing? I believe it was the late 1940s, shortly after mankind split the atom and created the atom bomb. And we learned about subatomic particles, and we learned about quantum mechanics, and we learned about the observation principle, where the mere act of observing will collapse the quantum state and finally be able to observe whether, say a particle is in one location or another, or at one velocity or another. I posit that
was from double slit.
The Roadrunner is
no.
Schrodinger's
this is
cat.
a metaphor. You're not far off, Tracy. This is an analogy. When the coyote runs off of the cliff and he doesn't know that he's going to fall until he looks down. It's Schrodinger's coyote. Once he understands, he makes an observation. The quantum state collapses and he falls. I think that's my conspiracy theory for the week.
I love it. Chuck Jones was teaching us physics from the early age.
I just read that for you gamers out there that there's a thing called Coyote Time.
And can we just say for a second that Carl Stalling was one of the most important film music influencers of the 1940s?
Oh, definitely.
Carl Stalling was a genius. Just saying.
Stefan, what are you saying about Coyote
You've got
Time?
interrupted several times now.
Yeah.
Sorry, Stefan.
No, that's all right. So I was going based off of Coyote Time. It's actually a term used by gamers that you get a small little bit of extra time to make a jump or for platforming.
Oh, wow. I think I've heard that before.
Like that.
Yeah, that's interesting. I love it.
Yeah. So it was named after Wile E.
I want to bring up so Chuck Jones said in his book that he had rules for the Roadrunner and Coyote.
What rules?
What were the rules?
So the first rule was that Roadrunner cannot cause the coyote harm except by saying meet me.
Okay.
Only emotional damage.
All harm is caused by an outside force.
That's
or self-inflicted.
Or mental games right there.
So basically, the only thing that can harm the coyote is his own ineptitude or the failure of Acme products.
By his own petard. It's true.
Yes.
His hubris brought him down many times.
I like number 3. The coyote could stop at any time if he were not a fanatic.
He's an addict. He's like, I can stop whenever I want to, but we all know deep down he's going to keep chasing that dragon or that Roadrunner.
That's right.
Number 4, no dialogue ever, except beep beep.
Yeah.
Yeah, wait, hold on. Does he say beep beep or meep?
So he says
beep
take? Beep, but it is written in the dialogue as beep beep. But when the person voiced him, Paul Giulio voiced him, he said meep meep.
Yeah, that's what I thought. I always heard meep meep.
Yeah, I always heard meep meep.
So, but that's not how it's written in the scripts.
He was not following the script at all.
Sometimes
what does he have? I mean, honestly, how can you screw that up?
The script. the script. I just love thinking that it's all meep meep. It's like the cartoon equivalent of like Jack Torrance in The Shining, like all work and no play makes Jack a dull boy. It's just meep 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 all the way down.
Hey,
yes.
Speaking of The Shining, the Roadrunner cartoon
right.
is something that the
You're
boy in The Shining
right.
watches.
Oh,
That's
yeah.
nicely cut, Tyler.
Nice.
And that's like the only place that I think I've actually heard the original song before.
Yeah.
Other than looking it up for this video.
Oh my goodness.
And it's and obviously there being somewhat thematic parallels between Wile E. Coyote and Jack Torrance in The Shining.
I'm sure if he could talk, Wile E. Coyote would have told the Roadrunner, "I'm not going to hurt you. I'm just going to bash your brains in."
All right, I have 5 more
Here's
rules.
Wiley.
1, the Roadrunner must stay on the road. Otherwise, he wouldn't be called the Roadrunner.
He's not an off-road runner.
Well, what if he's on a cliff? You know, sometimes he goes on like a cliff out.
Usually the road extended across the cliff.
Oh, I see.
What if he's driving in Massachusetts with the radio on?
Oh, good call.
That brings me to number 6. All action must be confined to the natural environment, Southwest American desert.
And or painting on walls.
Yeah, you never did see him at a grocery store.
Nope. All materials, weapons, and tools must be from Acme Corporation.
Yes, definitely.
Do you guys live in an area that has Acme grocery stores? Because I do.
No, is there an actual Acme grocery store?
No, ours all exploded.
I would be afraid to buy anything from Acme. Their track record is nebulous.
It's just a regular grocery store chain. I think it's just a regular grocery store chain. I think it's owned by the same people who own
But
Shaw's.
do they sell rockets and roller skates, Tyler?
And Star Market.
And TNT.
Number 8. Whenever possible, make the gravity the coyote's greatest enemy.
I mean, that's definitely observable.
And the coyote is always more humiliated than harmed by his failures.
If that coyote had 9 lives, he just ate them all.
I wonder how they can come up with all this stuff.
I would say one more, though. I added one more. I don't think that Wile E. Coyote is not exactly the bad guy. You know, he's fanatical, but we're almost supposed to be sympathetic to
Johnny Lawrence.
To his plight.
He's the Johnny Lawrence of that show.
Exactly. He's
Johnny Lawrence.
Like one time he actually caught the Roadrunner and he held up a sign and said, "Okay, wise guys, you always wanted me to catch him. Now what do I do?"
Wow.
Like we're supposed to feel for him.
Well, it's kind of like my favorite cartoon ever growing up was Tom and Jerry. And the same thing, like Jerry was always messing with Tom and Tom was the bad guy. And you were like, oh, you felt so bad for him. And it, like, yeah, what is that?
There's something philosophical to be said here about like why the Roadrunner and the Coyote are the standout of this sort of cartoon genre, because you have Sylvester and Tweety, you have Tom and Jerry, and for some reason, as Tracy was saying, Wile E. Coyote is the one that seems the most sympathetic.
Okay, we sympathize with characters that have clear goals, right? And this was the part of the talk around Breaking Bad, where like, even though Walt continues to become more and more despicable as a human being and a character, people still root for him. You know, he lost my sympathy after he let Jane die, but that's neither here nor there. But here's an interesting question. I'm being half, like many times, I'm being half serious, but also half kidding. Is there some kind of link to like the myth of Sisyphus here? Where it's
that is actually written.
No way! Oh my God! Seriously? Yeah.
Yes.
It's because it reminded me of Sisyphus rolling the boulder up the mountain. It goes down the other side. The poor guy's got to go down, push it up, back up, and he's just doomed to eternally strive. Yeah. There's something sympathetic in that.
I agree.
What was that? So does the musical, the musical wizard that monitors our show. Who played? Was that a keyboard? Who was that?
It wasn't me.
Oh, Stefan. Play us a song. You're the piano man.
I saw Billy Joel last week.
We talked about how like
smells like a beer.
We talked about how this cartoon was supposed to teach us things, but it also taught us some pretty big lies. Roadrunners aren't faster than coyotes.
Yeah, and also you can't hang in midair after walking off a cliff.
Well,
and wait, Tracy,
What?
do their legs spiral in circles like that, or do they?
They do.
No, but you know the so-called Jesus lizard, they kind of do that when they run on top of the water.
Oh,
They
yeah.
look like that. It's interesting. If you ever see that in slow motion, it's really fascinating.
So-called Jesus.
Well, I can't remember the
So-called
scientific name, but
Jesus
it's called the Jesus lizard.
I think Steve has a whole
I
song
think I
about
saw
that.
that band once in like
That's a
96
great band
in
too.
Boston.
Dwayne Dennison's one of my favorite
Jesus
guitarists.
Lizard. Oh wait, they're really a
Yeah, the
band.
Jesus lizard.
Oh, I
They're
did
actually
not know
really
that.
good.
I was about to
Do
call
their
my new
legs
band that.
spin as well?
I don't think any of the band members' legs spin, but yeah, but no.
Maybe their heads spin.
Tailspin cartoon
Ooh.
with that.
We're just in
an old
pronunciation mode.
I
now.
have some weird facts here
Please.
about Roadrunners that might make your head spin.
Go for it.
You always have weird facts. Let's
I always
have it,
do,
Tracy.
especially
Weird
when the song
facts,
is only a minute
Tracy.
long. So, what do you think that by the way, most of the time Roadrunners are
Oh
solitary
wait, is
animals.
this the game show part of the show?
Oh, I
Yeah,
love
let's
it.
do a game
All
show.
right.
All right.
I'm gonna
Hands
win.
on buzzers.
We need a theme song music. Do 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 do.
This is a legally
That's our
distinct musical song. Please don't sue.
Right.
But it has to be in like the 5-4-1. In the G minor, major, G something, G string quartet.
Got to be in a
Oh,
G
I don't
string.
know.
Words. There are so many words.
Words. Insert.
Okay, so generally, Roadrunners are solitary
Yeah.
birds. But when they aren't solitary, what are they called? What is a flock of Roadrunners called?
Gin rummy. Because you said they were
An acme.
An intersection.
Closest so
parliament.
far is
Not
Tyler's.
a murder.
Not a murder, no. A flock of Roadrunners is called a marathon.
Oh, I like that.
Or a race.
I like that. Oh, that's
Oh,
cute.
that
That's
makes
cute.
sense.
I like that.
Only if there's 26 of them.
Point
Yeah.
two.
Point
Yeah,
one. Point two.
They chop off one of the legs. Like that's really dark.
Okay, let's go into the second one. What do Roadrunners tend to eat?
Coyotes.
Human liver.
What did you say, Stephanie?
Human
I
liver.
said human liver.
With
Well,
farmer
now we're
beans.
going from Sisyphus to Prometheus. I'm gonna guess like either bugs or like I'm gonna go on a limb and say eggs because velociraptors ate the eggs of other dinosaurs.
Well, the Roadrunner definitely doesn't eat bugs because then that would be a crossover of Looney Tunes. Whatever.
I see what you did there.
Well done. Well played, sir.
Oh, I
Closest
get it.
so far, although that is way down the list and usually only when other stuff is not available, is Aaron with bugs and eggs. Their favorite thing to eat are rodents, reptiles, snakes, and small
Well, I was
birds.
gonna say it must be really tiny. I mean, I guess maybe I've only ever seen tiny roadrunners. They could be larger. I don't really know that much about them. Every time I saw them, they were pretty tiny. I can't imagine them eating like full-grown mice. So when you say they're
carnivorous little
yeah,
animals.
I believe it. I mean, birds can be pretty vicious. Some birds.
Yeah, they can.
I mean, when you say that they remind you of velociraptors,
No,
like,
I meant that
yeah,
seriously. Like if you look at
the more I learn
Yeah.
about them, the more I'm like,
if you look,
Roadrunner was not a cute little thing.
do a search for like Roadrunner skeleton, then do a search for like Velociraptor skeleton. Velociraptors were a little larger, like the size of small dogs, but like they look very similar. Like to me, at least, they look very similar.
Huh.
All right,
Yeah.
here's another
You're
one.
right.
How fast can a Roadrunner actually run?
15 miles per hour.
40.
I think it's faster miles an hour.
Faster miles an hour. 20.
Heidi, do you have a guess?
No, I'm gonna go with 30.
Roadrunners can run anywhere between 15 to 26 miles per hour.
I'm in the ballpark.
Yeah.
Coyotes go about 35.
Yeah.
Huh.
That's only if there's like a backwind.
Well, I was
And they're going
going
downhill.
to me, it's interesting. Like, everyone always talks about how fast cheetahs are, but they can only maintain those like bursts of speed. So, like, I'd be curious to know in a marathon who would win, the coyote or the Roadrunner.
Well, I mean, if it's a marathon, they're all Roadrunners.
That's what I was thinking.
So the Mexican and American tribes of that area of the United States had various
what would become the United
beliefs-
States.
had various beliefs about the Roadrunner. They were a very important animal to the tribes of that area, especially the Pueblo tribes. What was special about Roadrunners?
There weren't roads back then.
Oh, that's a good call. Yeah, right. What were they called before they were Roadrunners?
They could sort of like run through
Before they were roads.
They could sort of like
desert runners.
They could run through a mountainside,
runners.
and then when you would try to go through
They
and
would paint-
follow them,
They'd paint a fake
they
tunnel.
would be blocked off.
You're not far off, Tyler, actually.
Okay, I'm curious.
Roadrunners were considered to be medicine birds.
Okay, yeah.
Now, they also had another very special thing related to their feet. Any idea what it is about their feet that would make them special
They sold
to the Mexican and
They have
American
claws.
sold
tribes?
pictures on OnlyFans.
Ah,
They have thumbs.
they have opposable thumbs. I'm just a pug with opposable thumbs.
How do they?
Have you ever heard that song? Because it's amazing.
No, but that sounds like Schoolhouse Rock.
I'll find out, but it's one of my favorite songs.
So there's something special
I'm
about their
just glad
feet.
cats don't have opposable thumbs.
There's something special about their feet.
They're
B.B. Rouse and the Blue Kazoo.
never heard of it.
Pug with opposable thumbs. It's awesome.
Do they have like a prehensile toe?
Tyler, you got a guess?
Any other guesses? I heard what you said, Stefan.
Tyler, you got a guess for this?
Do they have like
I'm putting it in
webbed
the
feet?
chat, Aaron, so you can check it out later.
Thank you.
Webbed feet. Interesting, in the middle of the desert. Okay.
They have 12 toes. They have extra digits,
Or scales?
which makes them go faster.
They're really flat.
So what
They're
makes
like
Roadrunner what makes Roadrunners special is they have zygodactyl.
Nikes. They have Nikes on their feet.
They have
They have like cleats or like golf shoes on their feet.
Yeah,
They
there's
aerate
enough
the
friction
land.
that they can run on the air. That's the whole point.
I'm just loving this. I'm just gonna let you guys do this all day. Just riff.
Just vamp.
Oh, serious.
Just vamp.
Well, it's just vamping. I think I
Or
heard you. I
morbing
think to spoil the fun, I think you said they have zygodactyl feet, which is the same as
They
woodpeckers, like Woody the Woodpecker. So I'm wondering if there's any kind of interesting familial relations there between cartoons.
That's funny.
Zygodactyl.
so
That's the new name of a band.
so what makes zygodactyl important is that they are X-shaped. So they
They're
point. They have two toes pointing
Ah.
Like a
forward
claw game.
and two
Oh,
pointing
and two
backwards.
back. Oh, that makes sense.
And why this is important is because then predators cannot follow them because they don't know
Which
which way the
direction?
bird's tractors
That's
went.
cool. That's really cool,
Oh.
actually.
Huh.
But
That's
And
the-
because of this, the Pueblo tribes believed that they were able to protect against evil spirits.
Huh. Explain that one, Darwin.
And they would use their
Checkmate.
feathers on cradle boards.
Yeah.
For their children, for their babies.
Roadrunner.
That's some Marlon Perkins information right there, man.
I was gonna say that was like some David Attenborough information, but or
Wide World of Animals.
We're back to Jurassic Park here with the Attenborough.
Wasn't that Marlon Perkins who did the Wild World of Animals?
Southwestern Roadrunner.
Oh yeah, that's even better.
Very nice.
Okay.
Very nice.
Last question I have for you.
Wild Kingdom. That was the name of it.
Okay.
Wild Kingdom. Oh, that was yeah. I was a little kid. Yeah.
Was that?
Still are a little kid.
I'm 48.
Or was that just like National
Now
Geographic?
you just made me think of Twilight Zone.
Look at that fossil. It is stuck in the mud. Doo-doo-doo. Yeah,
okay,
it was Wild Kingdom.
Okay, I remembered it.
Or no, it was National Geographic.
That's what I
think because remember in the Twilight, was it the Twilight Zone?
Dan
The movie where at the beginning they're driving along and he's like, "Look at that fossil. It is stuck in the mud." It's all I can think of every time.
Oh, that's with the vampires and the werewolves, right?
All right, last question. You ready?
Okay.
Let's
hear it.
And if you've been paying attention, you probably will be able to get this one.
Okay.
Roadrunners live in a desert.
It's not a question.
So where do they get their water?
They have
I
humps
haven't
like
been paying
camels.
attention.
My humps, my lovely lady humps. Now I think cacti.
They get from their food.
A lot of animals do get most of their water from food, so that could well be
From cactuses.
Cacti could be.
I think they just run to the river. They run to the Rio Grande, the other Barenaked Ladies song that they would do on the Everywhere for Everyone tour.
Her name is Rio and she dances on the sand. Maybe they collect it maybe.
I think they're like the Flash. They run so fast they turn back time to back when it was an arid.
I'm wondering if they find ways. They're very tiny, so they might not need much. Like maybe they collect it from like condensation or morning dew or whatever.
The correct answer is the closest answer is the one that Stefan gave.
They drink the blood of their enemies. Oh.
Heidi got it exactly.
Oh my god! Am I right? What do I win? What do I win?
Heidi's the winner here, I think, overall.
A trip to Sparta.
I literally just said that because I thought it was funny. Oh my god!
Nope, they get the moisture from the blood and tissues of their prey.
So we're back to vamping. It is in fact Morbid time.
That's why I was laughing so hard earlier when you guys.
Tyler, you called it.
Is that why vamping's so popular in gospel music as well? Is because of like the sucking of your blood? Oh no, that's souls.
No, don't go there. Oh.
Okay, I got one for you guys. So on Rolling Stone's 500 greatest songs of all time in 2021, the 2021 list, where does the Modern Lovers Roadrunner song fall?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Roadrunner, Roadrunner, going faster miles an hour. Gonna drive fast and stop and shop with the radio on. I'm in love with Massachusetts and the neon when it's cold outside, and the highway when it's late at night. Got the radio on.
Over under 100.
I would say it is, because you're asking this question. I'm going to say it's under 100, but I would have gone with over 100 if I had just been naturally guessing.
Now, when you're saying under 100, you're meaning it's in the top 100.
Correct.
I'm gonna say over just to be a contrarian, but I think Tracy's logic is pretty airtight.
Contrarian.
One of my exes accused me of being a contrarian, and I literally said, "No, I'm not."
Aaron contrarian.
How do you argue
with you? I must take up a contrary position. Yes, but it isn't just saying no, it isn't.
Yes,
it is.
Sorry.
No, it isn't.
I came here for an argument. Thank you, Tyler. I needed a little Monty Python. So wait, what is the answer, Tyler?
So what is the answer?
It was 77 on their 2021 list, which is probably too high in the grand scheme of things. You're right.
Wow.
I mean, there's a lot of great songs out there. That's pretty high. That's great.
I mean, it was influential to a lot of music that came for cartoons and stuff after this, but wow.
Crazy.
Yeah, Barbara never expected to be that high.
I do have one more question. What do you think that the Coyotes' original name was? We all know it's Wile E. Coyote, but do you know what it originally
I'm
was?
going to say first name, Phil Coyote.
Phil?
Bob Johnson. Aaron Becker.
Kyle.
He looks like a
John
Ned.
Connor.
John Connor. Savior of humanity.
His original name.
Roadrunner Skynet.
Roadrunner is like a Terminator.
The Rodinator.
Tom.
So the original name of the first episode of Roadrunner,
Fast and the Furious,
was Fast and
Furious. You don't need Acme products when you got family.
Run that road a quarter mile at a time.
Oh, nice, Tyler. Oh, I still lose. Tip of the hat. Tip of the hat to you.
Paul Walker.
Vin Diesel.
What is it?
John. Oh, that's cool.
And the Coyote's name in the early model sheets was Don Coyotes.
That's another. Yeah, that's another literary.
Don
Coyote. That's hilarious. Coyote. That's fantastic.
Which
okay,
I had
really
wished they had kept that because I appreciate
Don Coyote is a better name than Wile E. Coyote. That's hilarious.
Don Coyote. But the Wile E, he's supposed to be so wily.
I remember my parents talking about Don Quixote when I was younger, but they said Don Quixote, like sounded like coyote, and I was like, oh, is he like Wile E. Coyote?
Now see, at some point, Wiley should have had a cousin come on, like Snoopy's brothers.
Don Quixote, yes. Don Coyote, and have him go jousting at windmills and stuff. That would have been great. I would have appreciated that. The literary nerd in me would have been very happy.
To dream the impossible dream. To live. No, sorry, I went into the Man of La Mancha.
And you never have to apologize for Man of La Mancha. I mean, come on. That play taught me how to use a whip.
Never have to apologize for singing on the show, Heidi.
Oh, thanks. I am Wile E. Coyote. the man of something. I chase the Roadrunner around.
I think that goes right along with your Sisyphus
fair to say, I would
analysis.
think that Wile E. Coyote's mission is fairly quixotic. So, maybe there's more of a connection than we think.
Well done.
Yeah, I agree. And see, this is the kind of thing that makes me wish I was still in school, because I would love to write a paper on this.
Well, if you were in school and you were writing a paper, they would give you a grade. So why don't we get to grading this song?
Oh, nice segue, buddy.
No, I hate writing. Just talk about it.
I know, right?
I'm rolling.
Man, you're like Weird Al Yankovic on that segue.
Wow. Oh, I
White
see what
and
you
nerdy.
did there. Oh.
He's like...
They see him rolling. They hating.
You're like Dean Payment on that swag. He's from New Hampshire, y'all. Just FYI.
Yeah?
One of these episodes, I'm going to make a little pencil mark for every tangent we go on.
Yeah, I was going to say, you will wear the
paper.
pencil down to a nub, and in the background will be the constant noise of sharpening.
What's nub got to do?
Nub is such a funny word, so yeah, that's nub.
It is.
My nubs.
It's a funny word. My nubs. My nubs.
My lovely lady nubs.
What's more got to do with it? Is that anything?
I think that was like an Invader Zim episode.
My nubs don't lie.
Nubs of Doom or something like that. Nubs of Doom.
Can you imagine the amount of songs that would be awesome if you just changed one word to nubs?
Apocalypse Nubs.
Looking for nub in all the wrong place.
Well, you could
I like nubbing better than
nub.
good puns.
Yeah, because nub sounds like love.
You guys
Yeah.
know how hard this episode's going to be to edit because you guys keep talking over each other.
Nubs bringing all the boys to the yard. Then like it's better than Nubs.
And of course, the modern nubbers.
Modern numbers.
Modern numbers.
Yeah. Edit, shredded. What's nub got to do with it?
You're not going to edit. You say you edit, and then I listen, and I'm like, you left all that in.
No, I mean, you guys talking over
wrote
each
the
other.
book of
It's going to
nub?
take me 10 minutes to stretch that all out.
Who wrote the book of Nub?
Tyler's like, I want to distance myself from this train wreck.
Tracy,
Sorry, Tyler.
Tracy, you can actually just cut me from this whole episode.
So I'm not
that's
going to
funny.
get to use this rating scale very often. So what I want.
Wait, hold on. I think we should let Tyler say everything he didn't get a chance to say right now.
Yeah, we really railroaded him throughout this whole episode. I do apologize, Tyler. We were ADHD all over.
Wasn't a train another thing that
Many
Wile E.
times, I
Coyote
think.
got
I
hit
seem to
with
recall
once?
him on the little pump cart. Yeah, the push
Yeah,
cart
he had-
thing.
We'll push thing.
Yes, exactly.
And Roadrunner would be the.
Oh, wait,
conductor.
Tyler,
He was
were you
many
gonna say
things, and we kept
something?
interrupting him.
Oh wait,
He's never
Tyler's
coming back.
here?
I'm so sorry, Tyler. Can we get Steve Tyler?
You should get Tyler Stewart on. That would be better.
Oh, really? There you go. Wow.
Who's also from New Hampshire, by the way.
Hey, the people I was all purportedly
Yeah,
named
Steve
after.
Tyler in Sunapee.
Just grew up in Portland, Maine.
Yeah, Steve Tyler used to summer in Sunapee
yeah.
and still has a house on Lake Sunapee. Yes.
Hey, Tyler, did you have any things that you weren't able to say?
Honestly, I feel
Yeah,
like I did all
I
the modern
appreciated
lovers
those.
jokes
Those
that
are
I
good.
was gonna do.
Quality.
Yeah,
I felt like
those
that
were
was
pretty
kind of my
awesome.
shtick coming in. Like every time I
You
said
were
something,
serving
it
up
was
quality.
just about the wrong song. But I do genuinely feel like this song is really
Like
like the
Origins
Barenaked
almost.
Ladies. I don't know why I said it like that. The Barenaked Ladies version of this song is really tightly harmonized, and it is probably like, especially in the later recordings, I've listened to the Play Everywhere for Everyone bootlegs like many times over, and that's why this song stuck out to me enough to volunteer to talk about it. And
Even though you didn't get a chance to.
because when they're saying that line, like, that coyote is really a crazy clown. When will he learn that he never can hold you down? Like, and then Steve singing the higher part. That coyote is really a crazy clown. It's like, it's really tight. It's really good. And it's hard to sing. It like they take this very simple song and make it virtuosic, and which is what they're good at.
So given that, Tyler, like, how many Acme products do you give this song?
Well, I feel like we're playing with fire here. Whenever we're working.
Well, usually, yeah. That's one of the big products by Acme is explosives.
Oh, it's that thing where I go first and then I say a really high number because I don't have a standard to hold like you guys do.
What?
Oh,
yeah. What show do you think
we have
this
no
is?
standards.
Standards?
Have
We
you
don't
met
need
us,
no
Tyler?
speaking standards.
Granted, yes, I'm normally higher, especially that one time I came on to talk about In the Drink.
We were pretty savage on that song. We did
My
not.
name is Inigo. You have no standards. Prepare to die.
But
I'm in
there
the
we
drink.
go.
Oh, no.
Yeah, I'll give it 3.9.
3.9. Okay,
Isn't that
yeah,
a
that's
Frank
pretty high.
Sinatra song? 3.9. Holy smokes!
That's pretty impressive.
That is pretty impressive.
Because I don't have the entirety of the fourth Acme
That
product,
is
that's what
pretty
causes
impressive.
things to go wrong. Right? Like
Yeah.
you need the safety on the fuse.
Yeah, just one little one little thing, one little gear fell out, and it just your rocket pack just flew off without you.
Like, yeah. Or like in October Sky when they forget to put the thing on the first time they try to build the rocket, you know.
Oh. Speaking of which, Homer Hickam rocks, Tyler. Just saying.
Well, since you wanted to jump in there, Heidi, how about you give us your score?
No, because I was like, I'm so glad you made a Rocket Boys reference or an October Sky reference, because if you haven't read the book, I highly suggest reading the book. But now I consider Homer Hickam a friend, so I'm really glad you brought the movie up.
Heidi, what's your score?
Homer Hickam was one of the original Rocket Boys.
Didn't he write a book?
Stefan, that was Homer Simpson.
No,
that was Homer Simpson.
Tyler, did you know that about?
So here's what a lot of people get confused. Homer Hickam wasn't a real guy making rockets. He was just like a wandering, traveling bard who like could have been a group of people or like a combination of several storytellers over time who were also making rockets.
I love.
Did he go by William Shakespeare?
I love we're doing the John Hodgman thing where we start off talking real facts and then slowly devolve into nonsense.
Speaking of John Hodgman,
right.
On February 13th, 2013, State Representative Marty Walsh introduced a bill that gave a bill to have Roadrunner named official rock song of Massachusetts.
Oh, wow.
Richmond, however, came against this, saying, I don't think the song is good enough to be a Massachusetts song of any kind. Comedian and Massachusetts native John Hodgman came out in support of Walsh's bill, saying the song was woven as deeply into cultural landscape of Massachusetts as the Turnpike itself. It is the pulsing sound of the night and the future.
Nice.
It connects the midnight ride of Paul Revere with the dream of every Massachusetts teenager who has just gotten their license and is discovering the freedom trail that is Route 128 after the last movie lets out.
Oh, I love that, man. He writes. He's the new American poet. I love John Hodgman.
Wow,
he's fantastic.
Something.
No, really,
anyway,
like, he's hilarious, but he's
stuff.
also very eloquent. And I love it. Yeah.
That's amazing. I did not know that, Tyler.
Aaron, you're pretty eloquent. What do you give this song?
Oh, well, thank you for softening the blow of cutting Heidi and going right to me by complimenting me. This is a tough one.
Well, Heidi didn't want to give me an answer, so.
I'll come back. I'll come back.
And I know why, because like there's
Heidi
a
was
lot
like the
to
Roadrunner
like about this song. You know, it's not trying to be anything more than what it is. And I don't want to hold its simplicity or the starkness of its recording quality owing to how early it was in their career against it. You know, I feel like that would be unfair. Having said that, I don't think I can put it in my fours. I don't think it's quite going on my best of playlist. You know, it's certainly a fun song. If it comes on, if I tell Alexa to shuffle BNL and this plays, I'm not going to skip it. And it's really short and sweet too, so there's not much point in skipping. I'm hemming and hawing here, I guess. I can't quite rate it as highly as Tyler, although I can see where he's coming from. It's a short, sweet, fun little tune, and I agree that the harmonies are very nicely done, and as you say, they're pretty close and tight. And there's this almost like, it kind of reminded me of like, oh brother, where art thou? There's almost like this, like not quite bluegrassy feel to it, but there's something in that that's kind of similar in spirit. So it's interesting that we mentioned Homer and the Odyssey. I'm going to give Roadrunner 3.4 Acme products out of 5. It's certainly well above average. It's a very good tune, and certainly, especially taking into account, you know, how early it was in their kind of lifespan as a band and where it came from. I think they did a great job with it.
Wait, you gave it a 3.2, Tyler. What did you give it?
3.9.
Wow, nice.
What do you give it, Heidi?
Okay, let's see. I like ditto almost everything verbatim Aaron said.
Ditto. Because
like I agree, it's not in my 4s, but I like what they did with it. It's kind of fun, and I love the opening. Like, and I agree, it's not something you search out, but if it's played, I'll go for it. And I've had it on my like various and rare tracks CD for a long time. So I'm gonna give it a 3.4.
I like at the end when they go, If he catches you, you're through. That's a good, like those harmonies are good.
Yeah, I agree with Tyler completely. The harmonies.
Good harmonies throughout. That's the best part of
great.
the song. Without a doubt.
Stefan, what are your thoughts on this song?
I think they did a great job with the song. I like the harmonies. I like where they were going with it. I thought having a song with Roadrunner is random, but I thought it was awesome. I know that BNL, there was a guy who won some kind of prize, and BNL had to write a song.
Yeah, we did that
about
one.
the guy, and they pulled this song out of their bum, and it was horrible. So
that was how you really feel.
I mean, if I was that guy, I'd be ripped. And I'm like, they're singing a better song about a Roadrunner than they did about me, and I won the prize. I'm one of their fans. I paid money to be there and do this. I would be ripped. But I thought this was a good song. I had fun with it. The lyrics were clever and creative. The harmonies were dead on. Nothing over the top when it comes to instrumentals. I mean, it's just plain and simple things. So I'm torn. I think all of you guys have great points. So I'm going to go in between Tyler and Heidi's. And I think I'm going to go with like a 3.55.
Wow.
How's that?
There you go.
Oh, because it's a good song.
Yeah.
It's kind of cool. They didn't screw it up. So there.
Tracy. Roadrunner is a 12-bar blues song performed by American rock and roll performer Bo Diddley.
Beep, beep. I'm a roadrunner, honey, and you can't keep up with me. Beep, beep. I'm a roadrunner, honey, and you can't keep up with me. Beep, beep. Come on, let it rain, baby, baby, you will see. Here comes.
Originally released as a single by Checker Records in January 1960, the song reached number 20 on Billboard magazine's Hot R&B Sides chart and number 75 on the Hot 100.
That is correct. I did catch that this week. It's actually a pretty cool song to listen to. There's a bit of a snippet right there.
I just wanted to shout out the other Roadrunner song that we could have been making jokes about this whole time. I think there's also a Migos song called Roadrunner.
I'm sure there's several. I'm sure somewhere in the multiverse there are other versions of us which vamped on different vamps. It was morbid time for different songs.
Boy, there's Amiga, there's a Sex Pistols.
But now that I know that Roadrunners are,
I think that's a cover of the Modern Lovers. But Tracy, what are you going to rate?
Right, Tyler. I think you are.
Oh, thank you.
I do that with my students too. I ask them about their weekends, and then I just sit there and wait for them to ask me.
I created this podcast so I could have my opinions, and no one wants to hear.
I'm a white man. People need to care about what I have to say.
There's not enough white men having their say out there.
Wow.
Known fact.
Now I do not need to give my
true facts. No,
Tracy, we value your opinion.
We're just busting your balls, brother.
So, one of the things that occurred to me as we were talking tonight that I didn't say is this was recorded within the first couple weeks that Ed and Steve were doing little tiny venues here or there, and they wanted to just be able to have something to give to people after the show. And they just picked songs that they knew that they could do, and that kind of showed off what they could do harmony wise. It makes sense that they could do this song. I think they do it really well for harmonies. I do kind of wish that when they did it live that they, kind of did a little bit more with it. Maybe that Kevin or Jim would have some fun with it. But at the same time, I like that they're you know what? No, this is an Ed and Steve thing. We're going to go back to our roots and give people a little bit of that as well. I'm going to give it a 3.3.
All right, we're all hovering around the threes here.
Ooh.
And I also want people to go out this week as much as possible and listen to Barbara Cameron's version of this that she did with her son, which is a very jazzy version. It's really cool.
If you're on the highway and Roadrunner goes beep beep, just step aside or you might end up in a heap. Roadrunner runs down the road day. Even the coyote can't make him change his ways. Roadrunner, the coyote's after you. Roadrunner, can't catch you till we free.
Those are great jazz hands.
Is it?
It's a non-visual medium.
That was like some end of the whiz action there, jazz hands. So wait, is it like swung? You say it's jazzy.
It is jazzy. So he was a big jazz musician, her son. And so they collaborated on this album in 2008, and this is one of the songs that they did for that. And they actually included all the sound effects and things in that, as well as Paul Giulio's noises that he made. The voice.
Julio.
There's a Roadrunner that's been on my mind.
You know, guys, this week's song brought me on a stroll down memory lane, and I was watching a video that showed me what songs are turning 40 years old this year. And man, it made me feel really old. And then I realized that rock and roll hasn't been around for it hasn't been around for not even 80 years at this point.
Yeah, back when rock and roll was young, me and Susie, we had so much fun. We were rocking and rolling to we were listening to Crocodile Rock. I totally screwed that one up.
It made me think, like, what songs are 50 years old? And guess what?
A lot.
Next week's song is 50 years old.
Whoa.
Really?
No kidding.
We're going to be talking next week about another cover.
It must be called Tracy.
Rock and Roll.
Oh, I thought it was named Tracy because 50 years old.
This is the Led Zeppelin cover that Tyler likes to sing.
Yes.
Oh yeah, that's right. I forgot about that.
I'm more quick to recognize the 80s than the 70s, but I'm into it. I got it. I'm locked in. I'm hip. I'm with it.
Well, Tracy and I, gosh, we were graduating college from 70 something, weren't we?
It feels like that sometimes.
Sure it does. Tracy looks at it though.
I don't think Tracy's very happy with us right now.
Ouch! Just because all of my hair is gray.
He's just aging gracefully, guys. He's just embracing.
Well, you got one of those words right.
Aging.
I can't get rid of these even if I try.
No, not
I just
graceful?
permanently got the little gray patches in the beard.
Yeah.
It won't go away. They refuse.
I was going for the Reed Richards look, but it just kind of kept growing out.
What Marvel character has that?
Why are we still here? What are we?
Can
what?
we do
This is the after show. This is for
after show?
We got to keep this
Speaking
stuff for
of
the patrons on Patreon once
we
we finally
did launch. No one came in.
Aaron, why does your profile picture
Did you
look
end?
like
Did you
Tyrion
end the
Lannister?
show yet?
Yay!
To celebrate joining Pantheon Podcasts, Rock Camp, the podcast, the official podcast of Rock and Roll Fantasy Camp, is giving away a guitar signed by Mike Portnoy of Dream Theater, Marty Friedman, formerly of Megadeth, and legendary shredder Zakk Wylde, plus our rockstar counselors like Vinny Appice, Monty Pittman, and more. To enter to win, simply follow, rate, and review our podcast on your preferred platform, and that's all you have to do. For more information, go to rockcamp.com/podcast.